Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our session entitled Social Learning at Time of Social Distancing. We are super excited to see you all joining our session today. As a piece of advice, please put your questions or comments in the portable chat box, then we'll try to address them during the Q&A session. So my name is Theodore Zacharias, and I'm the technical coordinator of Ethiopian Water and Gas Governance Program at CIWI. So it is my distinct pleasure to moderate our session today. Now I will invite Mr. Anton Earl, Director of Africa Regional Center, to say a few words about our session. Over to you, Anton.
Thank you very much, and good morning, good evening to all the participants over here. Yes, I'm Anton Earl from CIWI's Africa Regional Center, from where we run our work that we've been implementing in Ethiopia for the last few years. It strikes me, if we cast our minds back 2 years to the last World Water Week that was held face-to-face, that was the year 2019, what a different world we were dealing with then. We took it for granted that we'd hop on a plane, we would travel to wherever we wanted to, we would convene workshops, we'd convene seminars like the World Water Week, but many, many others. Fast forward 2 years and there's a huge difference in the world. And we know about everything changing so rapidly and resulting in a lot more virtual communication. But I'll ask you to cast your mind back even further and picture what happened 40 years ago, almost on this day. On the 12th of August, 1981, IBM released the personal computer. The PC brought computing to the masses. Every office had a PC installed in the office that users could use. Of course, they took turns using it. These things were so rare and expensive in those days. But what was predicted then was that you would have the paperless office. Within a few years, you'd get rid of paper usage because essentially the PC would be there. You could read everything. But an interesting thing happened. Over the next 2 decades that followed, global paper consumption more than doubled. Essentially, people were using the PC to print a whole lot more papers, print a whole lot more documents. And it was only really from the early 2000s that the paperless office started to make itself present. People started actually reading on screen and printing less. So there's a lag in the technology being available, but people's habits taking a while to catch up. And I think we've seen something similar in virtual platforms, virtual conferencing, virtual trainings, and so forth, where the technology has been around for at least a decade. And yet we were still flying around the world to do training courses, to do conferences. But something happened over the last 2 years. And this is what we will be discussing in this session today. What happened in Ethiopia over the last 2 years? And it could have been any country, of course, but Ethiopia is where CIWI has a long-running project running, supporting water sector reform in the country. And a lot of that work was around bringing people together for conferences and training programs. I'm keen to hear what actually happened, and I hand over now to my colleague, Anna Wickman from CIWI. Thank you, Anna. And of course, Anna, you'll unmute.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Sorry about that. For joining us today. I'll now present some of the key experiences that we've had during 2020 and 2021 when it comes to online training. So with us today, we have Dr. Ayele Anabo, the Director General of Policy, Law and Standards at the Environment, Forest and Climate Change Commission. We have Shifra Demise, Director of Water and Administration at the Basin Development Authority. Theodoros Zacharias, who is a textile consultant, but also works at the Ethiopian Textile Development Institute. Shalani Baloy, our program officer, Hanan Anwar, and of course, Anton Earl, our director at the Africa Regional Center. So I would like to take you back to those good old times when we had in-person trainings. So in the chat box, I would like to encourage you to put down 2-3 points about a good training program that you experienced, and 2-3 points about a boring or a bad training program, just to remember and to discuss what it used to be. We work in Ethiopia with this program, Environment, Forest, and with the Ethiopia Landscape and Water Governance Program. So Ethiopia is a big country, and there's quite a lot of people who are connected, but also not connected. 5.8% is on social media in Ethiopia, but all social media in Ethiopia is done via the mobile phone. So our program training in numbers, we had 3 online trainings that we decided to take online in the time of COVID. So environmental law, textile resource efficiency, and leadership skills for dynamic environments. We had 3 trainings that we ran for about 3 months, and we had 700 participants that took this training. And we got really good feedback on all of these trainings as well. And we had a really high turnout. And we also had a lot of participants that started recruiting others as well. We used Telegram as it's the most common platform in Ethiopia. And we also found that quite a lot of people actually volunteered to put in more effort than we thought they would. We expected maybe 100 people to participate. We thought that maybe the live interactions would not be that popular, but we had, instead of 100 persons, 700 people signing in. Also coming in on live meetings on Saturdays, which was completely voluntarily selected. We had a growing learning community where people recruited. So we used Telegram. I'm sorry for all these connection interruptions. We used Telegram as the platform that we trained the participants on. Here are some of the flashcards that we used and some of the training materials. We used short caption videos and flashcards. We also used polls and question activities, and also promotional cards to keep everyone interactive. So some of the key learnings that we've seen during this presentation or during this experience, and I'll take you through them now, is you need to use a platform that people are comfortable with and know how to use. That is also easy to use. You need to use a platform that can work with low internet connectivity, like this one. And also consider that people actually have busy schedules. So you need to have an app that actually works with offline connections, with remote connection. You need to build intrinsic motivation among your learners. So gamified learning experience. Use quizzes, use awards, reward people for their good participation and activity, not only for performing in quizzes. Grow your social community by allowing people to recruit others and join you. Establish guidelines and rules so to make sure that people follow them and they feel that they're part of a formal learning community. And use instructional design and pedagogy principles to make sure that you have content that's easily accessible, because it can be very technical when you work with textile or law or even leadership trainings. Make sure to build trust with your audience. So make sure that trainers and trainees can connect to each other. Make sure that you have topics that address everyday concerns. and make sure to answer everyone's questions so that they feel included. So in a nutshell, the elements of success that we have seen is have offline content. People need to be able to access everything. Have real-time sessions so people can connect to each other and discuss online. Have regular Q&As so people can get their questions answered, and make sure to have peer learning embedded so that you have an environment where people can learn from each other, which we have seen actually worked very well in Ethiopia. So some of the learner stories that we've seen circle around the short format, the ability to catch up after work, to have a community that you can consult with, and that everything was recorded, so you can always come back to it. So I will now invite some of our participants who have partaken to discuss on some of the benefits on this activity. So Dr. Ayela Nabo, can I invite you to speak?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Anna. Good afternoon, good morning, people participants from different parts of the continents. My name is Ayela Nebo from Environment, Forest and Climate Change Commission of Ethiopia. Before coming to express my testimony about the virtual program, I would like to just highlight some of water resource challenge and overall existing reforms in Ethiopia. As you know, Ethiopia is one of one of nation exposed for water scarcity due to drought and so many challenges. And to addressing the water resource challenge, Ethiopia has developed so many legal frameworks and policies last 3 decades. Even if those legal frameworks reform have been made, the country yet implementation and compliance in water resource management is so weak. For the challenge of implementation failures, obviously the major contributing factor is the problem related to capacity, lack of capacity on policy and legal frameworks. And the virtual training programs obviously aligned with national environmental law development and enforcement program, forecasting to train basic policy and law training for diverse actors engaging in different skills. So the virtual program given by SIWI has given opportunity to train and build capacity of different actors from academia, civil society, government, regulatory institutions, law enforcement, and policy formulating sector. So it is really a good opportunity for the nation to give that training and build the capacity of the nation. Ethiopia look forward in the future to have such a training program to continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ayala. Now I'll invite Shifra Demis, Director of Water Administration at the Basin Development, to give his view.
Thank you so much, Hannah. How are you all from different places? I'm Shifra Demis from Basin Development Authority, Ethiopia. I'm Director for Water Resource Administration. Basically, regarding social learning during social distancing, before COVID, we, as a basin administrator or as a water resource administrator, we don't have such experience on using virtual meetings before. So when COVID happens. Almost office activities were closed, and the communication with our stakeholders were also minimized due to connection problem. So one of the opportunities that was created were by SIWI in providing trainings like regulation on water resource management and the environment. And this is basically provided through Telegram. This gives a report to be system, and everyone, even if he don't have an access for live gate the trainings, so that exercising. So thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Ifra. I'll now invite Tedros Zacharias to give his view very quickly from ETIDI and from his experience, and then we'll wrap up and answer a few questions.
Thank you, Aga. Anna? Yeah, okay. Okay. Thank you, Anna. Before explaining about our experience with Ethiopian Textile Industry Development Institute textile training, let me briefly introduce Ethiopian Textile Industry Development Institute. It is a government institute established in 2011 with the sole purpose of supporting the textile industry in capacity building, technical support and consultancy service, research and development, investment promotion, as well as marketing support. So it is in such a way that our textile sector or textile industries operate eco-friendly or sustainably at the same time being competent in the international market. So it was in line with this that we organized this virtual training or TOT training of trainers on resource efficiency for the textile industry, particularly for Ethiopian textile industry experts, as well as for other experts in Ethiopia and other stakeholders as well. So our training was focused on resource efficiency. Major focus was on water, as we are now talking about water issues. Then our major topic was water management, energy management, as well as chemical management, were some of the topics that we covered in our training. So it was a successful training, virtual training, engaging more than 400 participants, and very flexible training that from the feedback that we have gathered from our training, it was super exciting. So our trainings were much happy and were able to gather information from that. So that was a brief reflection about our textile training. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you so much, Teddy. Now we'll take a few questions and answers from the chat box. I see that one question was about how we collected participant data and how we measured efficiency. So we used, for this one, we used the Telegram chatbot. So through the Telegram chatbot, you can actually measure participants' activity. You can see what videos they have watched, how much they have chatted, and how much they've discussed. We also measured the quizzes. So a chatbot is what do you call it? An automatic service that you can add to your chat. And from that, you can draw data that's happening in your chat. So what we have done, we've told everyone that we are going to collect the data. And then after that, you can actually measure, you can get a nice graph out of this whole thing. So the engagement rate, we also measured through this. The engagement rate was also measured through the chatbot, through the sign-ins from the discussions that we had, and through the quizzes that we had and diplomas that we gave out. I'm not sure about the H2O training, but I think we're almost running out of time soon. And if there is anyone that has any other questions, and if you would like to have a consultation, I'll post a link in the chat where you can give me your email and I'll contact you for maybe a 20-minute consultation if you're interested to know more. And for any other questions on collaboration, etc., I'm available at anna.wickman@cwe.org. Thank you everyone for connecting and have a great continued conference.